Hey everyone, welcome back to Fast Charging, episode number 17 with Bear.
And Brian.
Today's video is being live streamed by me, but I will not be live, but I will be in the comments. And after the show is over, I'll be there also. And we can chat about anything that you want to from today's episode. Brian's episode will be pre-recorded, so you can see that on his channel. He's just got some scheduling conflicts. So what we got for you today is we got a lot of Tesla. We got some more GM stuff. I'm sure we're going to thank Mary at some point. Lots of different things, lots of different topics. First off, before we get started, I want to tell all my Nikola and Lucid viewers, you probably know this, but we have earnings reports coming for Nikola. And the first one, Nikola, will be February 23rd. I'm sure that will be after the market closes. And then Lucid also will be next Monday on the 28th before our next recording. So I just wanted to remind everybody about that, and they'll be hopefully going over deliveries and maybe some earnings. We'll see.
I wanna skip to the good stuff, but I gotta ask, what are your predictions? What are your thoughts on Lucid and Nikola's earnings?
Okay.
And I know, by the way, it's way too early to be giving JJ what he wants, but who knows? Yes. I assume, even though this part's pre-taped, welcome JJ, welcome to Paul. Who else should we say hi to in the chat?
Lily May, biggest fan.
No, Lily will be here later.
Yeah, she's always showing up late.
By the way, Lily, if you are watching, thank you. And real quick before we say that, to clarify, while I am pre-taped on my side, on my Tesla Live, the second channel, please subscribe, Bear is actually running this live so that when it ends, around 40-ish minutes, he's going to actually be there for realsies, in that chair, in that chat, doing what he do.
I will be here. And you mentioned you're running it not live, but you're going to be putting it on your new channel. And
right.
That is My Tesla Live.
Yeah.
That's the correct name, right?
Yes.
So Brian has started a second channel to put all of his live stuff on. Just works out better with the YouTube algorithm, and I'm sure he's got some other reasons. So if you guys get a chance, please check out his channel. I'm showing it on my screen. He's got 240 subscribers. A lot of this is stuff that's already happened. The fast charging episodes are all up there. So if you guys can take a look, maybe run through the playlist, help him get that watch time up, and also subscribe so you can get that channel monetized, because all the fast charging episodes that he puts up are going to be on this channel going forward in the future. Of course, my channel's a better channel because, it's mine. But please help him out, subscribe, watch some of his videos, go make dinner, so that he can get the numbers that are needed to get monetized.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So yes,
prediction?
Let's hear it. I want to hear it.
Okay, so as far as Nikola goes, I'm not expecting a lot of earnings. I'm not sure that there'll actually be earnings. They delivered a couple of trucks towards the end of last quarter, but whether or not they got paid for them because they're test trucks, I'm not sure. So earnings is going to be very, very minimal. What's going to be more important on that is how much money that they've gone through and how much money that they have.
The burn rate.
Yeah. So that's obviously going to be important. I know they got a lot of trucks lined up, and a lot of trucks have already been delivered in January and February. And when I say a lot, I know I'm probably talking 10 to 15.
Right.
It's not a whole lot, but they're all going out to be tested, and these are going to be followed up with the LOIs to go ahead and purchase the rest of the order. And that's when we're going to start seeing a lot of numbers start going in the opposite direction for Nikola.
Sure. And as a reminder, all the other guys with electric trucks have similar numbers out in the field. Less than 20. Fewer than 20 for Mercedes and BYD and Freightliner and certainly Tesla. Volvo's got some, but less than 20 makes them neck and neck with everyone else and singularly focused on it.
Yes.
For what it's worth.
And people are driving those trucks and they're loving them so far as the testing goes. At least that's what they show in the videos, of course. And also it's a great opportunity to say, hey, there's some things we want changed, and if it's possible to change it, to go ahead and do it. So I'm excited to see what it is. I don't have great expectations. but I am still anxious to see what's going on. And as
Sure.
far as Lucid goes, boy, I started a rumor right before I went on vacation that maybe there's more than 520 Dream Editions. I'm real confused, and I've talked about this on my channel as far as how many cars that Dream Editions that they're making, because I know I've seen more than 500 vehicles get produced, unless they're playing musical cars. I'm going to throw that out there. But the cars come into the parking lot, then they disappear. New cars show up. Just counting the ones that are in new parking spots, there's definitely more than 520. But just as of 2 weeks ago, when I was looking at them, saying the wheels that are on these cars are still Dream Edition cars, and they don't. These wheels are not on any of the other editions. They're not on the GT. The Pures aren't being made. The GTs are going to be the next cars that they make. So, if all these cars are Dream Editions and they're still producing them, did they produce more than 520 cars? And we're not going to know that entirely, because these cars are being produced in January, so we're only going to end up getting last year's numbers. But I have a feeling that they may have extended the Dream Edition build from 520 to something else, to a higher number. And no one said anything like that except for me, just because I think I've seen more than 520 Dream Editions go through that production area. And we won't find out until the earnings report, maybe next quarter. Maybe they'll say, "Oh, we did 600 Dream Editions, and we are going to do another 400." Some people may be offended by that because they thought they were buying something that was a limited edition.
Well, that's still limited.
It is, and I don't think it's that big of a deal. Originally, there were supposed to be 500 Dream Editions, so when people bought it, they thought there was 500. So then they moved it up to 520. Nobody complained then, though when I started this rumor, people were saying, "Well, I bought something that I thought was a limited edition." Like, well, you didn't complain when it went from 500 to 520. So if it goes from 520 to someone who keeps putting out 1,111, if it goes to that number, is it that big of a deal as far as the value of it?
Right.
It's still going to be a car that's going to depreciate in some sense.
Sure.
So
Sure.
anyway, I expect there will be earnings, which is great. They did deliver cars, and every car that they sold was, $170,000. So that's income, and I definitely see them having more income than Nikola. But I mean, the two
Sure.
are not comparable. They're two different things.
It's early
They
days.
run on batteries. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are
So,
my
did you
thoughts.
know, speaking of early production, more than 100 Model Ys spotted under car covers outside Giga Texas, looking very
Oh, is
ready for delivery.
that French?
I believe it is. Yeah.
That was excellent.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, these cars it's pretty exciting to see. I mean, it's almost like, when we go to Lucid every day, we see all these cars under covers. And Joe or Jeff did the same thing, and they took a look at the wheels, and they could see that they're all long range cars. From what we've seen, they're all black or blue. So it's pretty exciting to see this after all this time. Both of us have been following the build of Giga Texas. I've been there. You plan on going there, and
Yeah.
it'd be great to see these cars in person.
Yeah.
But just seeing them every day when the parking lot changes every day, and you're like looking to see which cars are different, which cars have moved. It gets pretty exciting. It's going to be very hard for Joe or Jeff to count these cars on a daily basis, and hopefully,
Yeah.
somebody who's watching, you're a car counter, so maybe you'll become the official car counter.
I hope not. I
Yeah.
hope not. With that
Little
said,
dots on there.
did you know that they've got 1 million 4680 batteries stockpiled in Fremont awaiting shipment to be used in those Model Ys?
When I first heard that, I got a little excited, and then I started to realize how few cars that actually makes.
That's a very small number. People are real excited about this, but I am not, because I can math.
Yeah.
It's not
So-
enough. It's not enough.
Yeah.
Considering Cato Road's been running since, October at least, I was expecting a substantial stockpile. Not a million, but tens of millions. Enough to make a lot of cars. And this is about enough to make 1,000, 1,500 cars, depending how many they decide to use.
Yeah, I think the rumor is somewhere around 800, but that's if they keep the range, I think, at the same, or comparatively
Yeah.
speaking. So in 800 is, they go quick.
Yeah.
1,000, 1,500, or 2,000 cars, whatever it turns out to be, they could end up producing that within weeks.
Well, considering that we just looked at a picture of 100 that weren't there a few days earlier,
Yeah,
once the line turns on, they can move fast. Now, they are
yeah.
presumably dialing in the battery tech, the machines in Austin. Maybe they're already running, maybe they're not. But
Well, this article does go on to describe that, like one of the machines they had, I can't see the number on the screen here, but I'm looking at the graph
right,
that shows their good and bad failure, and they had one machine that had a lot of bad batteries.
Sure.
And the reason for that was they were training
yeah,
Texas or the Giga Texas Gigas people. They were training them how to do it, and once they learn how to do it, they're just going to go down to Austin. They're going to be doing it there, and every one of these represents a machine that's producing X amount in a month or a week, whatever this graph says, this tiny little graph. So once they turn on all the machines in Texas, as long as they have the raw materials to throw in there, I see production just ramping up real quick on that. So
yes.
that's good, and it's great that they have 1 million batteries as a head start. But like we're both saying, that doesn't last long, not long at
No.
all.
The
I
benefit
think they got
is they'll continue producing out of Cato Road in California while they're dialing in the production in Austin.
Yeah, and it'd be nice to know how many machines they have in Austin. But I think
Yeah.
I think they'll be able to keep up. If you look at these failure rates on these other machines, some of them are really small, so they're able to
Yeah.
put out a decent amount of batteries. And
Yeah.
I already said, I don't know how many machines they have there, but if they have the same amount or more, they're gonna they're gonna definitely need more than
Yeah.
that amount if
Yeah.
it took them this long to get to 1 million. And I'm
Yeah.
not knocking it. It's just that they're going to go through that amount because
Yeah.
I mean, you're the math guy. So let's say when they're producing 20,000 cars a month.
So if they're
How many-
producing 1,000 cars a day, they need about 1 million batteries a day.
a day?
So they'll need 20 to 30 million a month just to ramp to about 1,000.
Yeah.
That's a lot, man. And that's
Yeah,
assuming we're only talking about 1,000 cells per car, as opposed to the 4,000 2170s or the 8,000 19650s or 18650s, whatever they are.
Yeah, but you know what? That really does put it into perspective. If they were actually doing 2170s,
They need
God,
four
how
times
many-
as many.
yeah, they need 4 times as many. So, I mean, this just shows how much easier
Yeah.
it is going to be for them. And everyone's said in the past few years, what's the two constraints? Chips and batteries.
Yeah.
But if they need a quarter less batteries, wow, they're going to fly through this.
Yes. And
As
it's
long as
also
they
the
chip.
materials that go into the batteries, but still, all of this is a big deal. Boy, it'd be cool to see those in person, the machines, you know?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, maybe we can one day.
When?
You know when.
I do.
You do.
Tesla Giga Texas.
7th.
Yeah.
April 7th.
April 7th is the big day. I've already booked my flight.
Have you?
I have. I booked it last night.
Are you sure you can get in?
No. No, but I said in my response to Elon, I'll be there. I will get my ace to Texas either way. I just prefer to not have to do my coverage from the off-ramp. At the very least, I can do in-person interviews with the Quad Squad Plus and interview some other hotshots in town. But boy, I'd really like to get a golden ticket.
Yeah. What day is April 7th?
Yeah, it's April 7th. This article said April 1st. No, it's actually April 7th. And I feel better about that because if it was April 1st, I would just assume the whole thing is a lark.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt. Let me see. April 7th. I'm trying to figure out what day of the week that is. That is on
Thursday.
It's like a Thursday.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm flying out Wednesday so we can do the podcast.
Oh, you just got all cutty and choppy.
Yeah, I said I'm flying out Wednesday so we can still do our podcast on the 5th.
Okay.
And
Well,
And I'm actually flying out not from the closest airport, but the next closest, 2 hours away, because the flight would have gone through that airport anyway. So it's actually quicker to just drive up.
Okay. So I don't know if I'll be able to do fast charging episode on that Tuesday because I'm going to have to either get in my car and drive
Right.
there, or I'm going to fly there.
Right.
I will have to, if I fly there, I I got a good flight plan, but I would have to go on standby. Are you renting a car?
I'll have to, because I'm actually going to be there for like 5 days or 6 days because that was the cheap airfare.
Okay.
I was able to do it with miles plus $12.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. Well, maybe we can rent a car together. I
Right.
don't know.
Right.
Or maybe I'll drive my RV out there.
Oh,
Think they got
wow.
RV parking?
Oh, then I don't need a place to stay.
Oh. Oh. Then you can help me out with all the gas that would. Oh my God, the gas would be horrible.
Horrible. Horrible.
But I'll run the numbers and see if it's cheaper because I won't need a place to stay. But
Right. Right. And the rooms are not terribly cheap.
yeah, but it's still 1,100 miles in a big Class C. Maybe though.
Maybe.
So I'm pretty excited about it. I know we're going to figure something out. We're probably going to miss some flyovers of Nikola and Lucid in order to get this. But hopefully you Nikola and Lucid viewers don't get too upset with me on that. But I have to be there, and
Yeah.
I've got to figure out a way in. Elon did say that it's going to be limited to people that were close in the Texas area, or that were close. I replied that I'm only 5 minutes away via Starship. So
That's pretty close.
yeah, so if
That's
I
pretty
could
close.
possibly get a launch from my backyard.
Yeah. What I'm counting on is being someone's plus one.
Yeah.
And I have very low confidence in that.
Yeah, and I bet Jeff and Joe are getting hit up by everybody.
Yes, and I imagine they're taking their spouses.
That's true. That's true. All right. Well, that is a pretty big picture of that. And you know where I went? I went on a cruise,
Yeah?
and
Yeah.
that's where I was the last 10 days. And the ship I went on was Carnival's biggest ship,
Wow.
and it is 1,120 feet long.
That's a big boy.
The beam on it, which is the width for those that don't know, I'm putting up a picture of the ship.
What's the ship?
It's the Mardi Gras ship. And I think the beam is somewhere like 120 feet, 128 feet, I think. It's a pretty big ship. And
Oh, wow.
I was just looking at that ship and I'm like, how many of these could you fit in Giga Texas? What do you think?
What's the size?
The length is 1,130 feet, and the beam, which is the width, is 138 feet wide.
1130. Hang on. I have my... It is... Giga Texas is 1,180 feet wide. So that means you could park it sideways on Giga Texas. And the beam you said is 135?
138 feet.
Equals this divided by 138?
How many?
27. So you could park it one wide and 27.6 long.
Wow.
It would be...
I just spent 7 days on
this
this ship,
size.
and I've walked your phone keeps track of your steps.
Yeah.
Each day that I was on that ship, just walking back and forth from my room to different things, did about 4.5 miles on average.
Well, it's a quarter mile long almost.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. That I how many you get? 26?
yeah, 26 and a half. Yeah, so if you were to look at my chart, my tracker chart, it'd be
Yeah.
about 4 squares by almost all of the squares across, all but one.
That is insane.
It's a big boy.
the ship was so big, and to think that 27 times that, it's just hard to get the scale of this.
Yeah.
It's-
If you were using Giga Texas as the board upon which to play Battleship, you'd have a bad time.
wow. Okay. If unless you're there, it's so hard to fathom the size of these things.
Wow.
And I was at Kennedy Space Center during this trip. That's where we left from Port Canaveral, and I got to see the Saturn V rocket in the facility, and that was incredible. And all I did was, when I was looking at it, was this is going to be a little bit smaller than Starship with the booster. And when you're standing underneath it and you're looking at it and you see how big it is, it just looks so different than watching it on a video screen.
For sure.
And the guys that was at NASA spaceflight, they got all the pictures, and you get to see them. You just cannot get the scale.
No, it's ridiculous. So with that said, I think we're going to move on to 43% of pickup owners plan to own an electric truck in the next decade, study says. Now, this is kind of a big deal because this is adoption from the absolute petrol heads,
Oh, yeah.
Surprising amount of current pickup owners say they plan to own one within the next 10 years. Does it surprise you?
It doesn't really surprise me, and I think in the end it's going to end up being higher. A lot of those 57% of people are people that are just not planning on buying a truck. Just because it's 43% doesn't mean that the other 57 plan on buying an ICE. There are people that keep their trucks for a very long time.
Sure.
So there is that, and I think it's going to end up being higher because I think within the next 10 years, the trucks, the EV trucks, are just going to be so much better than what people are expecting. So if they're at 43%, you've got a group of people who probably are saying no right now, but they're going to realize that these EV trucks are going to end up being better. So they're going to have better towing capacity, better range, and the range better range in general. People who are buying ICE are not concerned with range right now.
Yeah.
But
And I think the big obstacle isn't going to be desire, but production.
Yeah. But I think we're going to end up seeing a lot less ICE vehicles. And at some point, it might be Ford, it might be GM, probably won't be Ram, are going to say we're going to stop making these trucks with the gas engine.
Yeah.
Or at least like the Colorado size, the smaller size ones are going to be like, all right, well, we're done with this as far as gas.
Well, how big do you think batteries are going to be in the early pickups?
How big? I'm going to go with big if you want to consider the Hummer a pickup truck.
Can you consider it? I mean, it has a bed.
Yeah, it does.
But it's a different vehicle. I can't see many people rolling up to the job site in this.
Yeah, the Boss might.
Especially if the job site has anything other than concrete slab.
No, these things are great for going off-road.
9,000-pound curb weight. I'd be afraid to take it off-road.
I'd only be afraid to take it off-road because I would not want to damage my $110,000 vehicle.
So for reference, by the way, this 2,923-pound battery, you remember the original Tesla Roadster, the one made from a Lotus?
Yeah.
Curb weight was 2,700 pounds. The entire
So if you
vehicle.
put the two on a scale, the battery of this would be more than the entire car of the Roadster.
That's right.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
In a 212 kilowatt battery pack, the range is still 300 and was it 29 or something around that? I might be off by a couple. No, I nailed it. 329. I just wonder, was there not something that they could have done to make this any lighter? I mean, I understand the battery pack is as big as it is, but if you could reduce the weight somewhat, you don't need such a big battery pack.
Well, you end up in this death spiral where the battery gets heavy, so now you need a heavier frame, heavier tires, heavier suspension, heavier brakes, and now you need to make the battery bigger again, and it just spirals out of control.
Maybe they have this excessive cooling system like the Mach-E's did, where there's 46 hoses coming out to battery.
It's all hoses. It's just the hoses are load bearing, and actually it's a Hummer, so they're not load bearing. You know, did you see in Sandy's tear down the air tank for the Plaid Model S on the front is structural.
Oh yeah, that piece.
Yeah, it's a cross member.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
and it's a structural load bearing air compressed air tank.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool. It is considered a truck, and it is considered a pickup truck because it has that small bed. I think there's just an imbalance between the weight and the batteries. And I know Sandy Monroe has said before, or someone with his knowledge has said, there's a certain amount of, for every pound you take off, but he says kilograms because he's good with that. But for every pound you take off, you need this much less of a battery.
Right.
And I just think that these guys could probably do something a little different to save some weight. There's got to be a weight savings at 9,000 pounds.
And I think there's a disconnect between the types of people who want an EV and the types of people who want a 9,000 pound vehicle. You know, Tesla's making a 9,000 pound vehicle. It's called a semi.
Yeah. Is that how much that weighs?
10. Well, I looked up on Google and it was between 10 and 14, I think, is an average big rig.
Okay.
So Tesla's probably on the higher end of it, but still.
So if you were taking one of these out in a random place and wanted to go to an Airbnb.
Well, I don't even know if you'd be able to find an Airbnb that has a charger.
I think you're wrong.
Look at that.
You know you're wrong.
New milestone. Over 850,000 hosts now offer electric vehicle charging. So the problem was they didn't have a filter for that. So they didn't even know how many they had. And then when they finally succumbed to pressure and added the filter, people had made their own third-party plugins that would work with Airbnb to show. Now that they see the benefit, not only can you see how many there are, but some property owners have decided to get on board, and that's increased the number further. 850,000.
Yeah, that's when I saw that, I was like, that is a lot. And I looked up, I didn't even realize that they had that many listings. But I looked it up, and they're in the several million of the listings. Though I do have questions, because I'm going to play devil's advocate on this one.
Sure.
So if I wanted to go to your house with my Tesla and you don't have anything for me to plug it in, I could still plug in with a 110, right?
Right.
I get 5 miles per hour, 4 to 5 on going through a 20 amp, 110 volt line. So what I'd like to see Airbnb do, because I think this would be really important, is for the people, the 850,000 hosts that say they have electric charging, to break it down as far as either amps or what type of connection, because you can plug any EV into any house, and technically, if you have a cord that reaches, every one of their listings has electric vehicle charging, as long as they have a plug that's reachable. So I would like to see that broken down, because if I was an Airbnb host and I spent $2,000, $2,500 putting in a 220 volt line that has 50 or 60 amps, I would want to brag about that.
Absolutely.
And I would want that in my listing, saying you could charge here at 35 miles per hour as opposed to 5 miles per hour. Because if I was also a host, I would say, yeah, you could plug into my garage and you can get 5 miles per hour. And yeah, I can charge your EV. It's going to take a real long time. But so I'd like to see that broken down into
I think
But,
you get a lot of 1-stars out of that.
yeah, it's true.
And that'll
But,
kick you off the network real quick.
yeah. But yeah, to me, it's important to know how what kind of what they have,
Yeah.
and if they have a dryer that you can plug into,
Right.
which adapter do I need? Because that should be up there.
Right.
That's very important stuff. You don't want to get out into the woods and find out you have the wrong plug-in.
Well, I imagine
done
that's described in the description, but either way, this is a good start.
It is. It's an excellent start. Break it down a little more, though. Let's break it down.
Keep breaking it down. So did you hear that adaptive LED headlights have finally been approved by NHTSA for the U.S.?
I saw that, and I knew that it was not legal, but I also was very confused about it.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a question for you. Maybe
Yes.
you know the answer to this. Adaptive headlights, they can move with the car. Like if you're turning left.
Nope. They don't
No,
move. So the old ones, like Volvo, had a really great adaptive headlight system. They didn't call it that. It was like tracking, some smart drive, whatever. That was pretty good. But what this is a projector. It's an LED projector. So
Okay.
you know, there was footage from the Giga Berlin County Fair where they would show the headlights projecting the word Tesla onto the wall.
Yeah. Saw that.
So what this does, in the top picture there, you can see it's only lighting up your lane. That's a setting you would probably never use. I don't think they'd even have it. But the idea is, if there's an oncoming car, it blacks out that part of the projector so you don't blind traffic.
Nice.
So
Okay.
it focuses, it only turns on the bulbs where they're needed and not where they aren't.
Okay. So Mercedes had something where when you turn your wheel, the lights on the left side, like if you turn left, the lights on the left would start shining on the left. Are those lights actually moving, or was that adaptive headlights?
I don't know. It could have been either. Was that in the U.S. or somewhere else?
It was here.
Then
We
it wasn't adaptive because those weren't legal until just now.
Yeah. So you're saying there was actually bulbs in there that were moving?
Physically moving. The Volvos had bulbs that were physically moving 15 years ago.
I had a 2017 Mercedes E300, and I could sit in my driveway, and I could turn my wheel to the left, and then the lights would go to the left. But when I looked at those light bulbs and someone else was turning the wheel, I wouldn't see anything move. It was just the direction. And to me, that sounds like adaptive headlights. But
Maybe there's a literal physical definition that I'm not aware of. Very possible.
but it was definitely in the U.S., and we got into an accident with that car, and that headlight was very expensive.
Yeah. On Goon Squad, they rebuilt their TRX, and the headlight they had to replace, I think, was $800.
That's not bad, actually.
Really? Oh wow.
Well, the headlights are expensive, but the headlight on that Mercedes when we had to replace it was over $2,000.
Oh.
I
Wow.
mean, that literally was like, it was like 15% of the damages was just the headlight, because the total damages were like $11,500, and hood, fender, bumper, and the headlight was the most expensive piece.
Wow. So how will companies update? Like, let's say you're a car company and you've already put them into the cars, but you haven't turned on that feature. What do? A recall?
You could either do a recall or you can do an update, just a regular update.
Yeah.
Tesla's gotten very good at it.
They have.
And out of the 19 recalls that they've had since January 1st of 2020, which is more than 2 years, out of 19 recalls, 7 of them were fixed with just over-the-air updates, which is great. And a couple other companies are trying to do that.
Just
They were able
getting
to do it.
started.
Yeah.
Just getting started. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's really progress when you have something that NHTSA doesn't like, and you can go, all right, we'll fix it tomorrow.
Boop.
That really upsets NHTSA, because they really like to have cars brought in.
Yeah.
But pressing a button and doing an over-the-air update is a great way to save a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
Imagine if Chevy could have done that with the Bolt. Oh, well, we can do a software fix on these battery packs, and we'll get them all done tomorrow. Everybody update
Yeah.
your car. That would be
Yeah.
great, but it's not possible.
Yeah. It'd be wild. It would be wild.
You you want to talk about other things that are wild,
Yeah.
like the DeLorean
What?
as an EV? I
You
think
yeah. I like
I
it.
think that'd be pretty awesome. Would you get one?
Well, I couldn't really. Yeah, if they make it in a 6-seater, you bet.
Okay, well, forget about your personal issues with that, but
I
if
don't.
you were looking for a car,
Yeah, I don't have any. I mean, I'd be very curious to see what they come up with for a visual concept, because just taking inspiration from the original, there's a lot you could do.
oh yeah, and in my opinion, the original DeLorean looked cool, but it was an underperformer.
Yeah.
It was a slow car,
Yeah.
and supposedly it couldn't even get up to 88 miles per hour
Ah.
if you had it. Yeah, so that's kind of sad, w- since it was really made famous by cocaine and Back to the Future.
Yeah. Well, you can just say the 80s.
Yeah, but I would love to see what the price point is. I'd love to see the range. If it comes out as a 200-mile car, I'm going to turn my back on it. But I would definitely be interested in something like that.
Yeah. It'd be cool. It'd be cool.
And we're not even going to play the. I'm not going to play the video because it showed nothing. It was just a tease.
Have you heard of VinFast?
I've heard about them and their massive collection of cars from Vietnam. Of all
Somehow we
places.
missed them on last week's list.
Yeah, we did.
They're driving around the country in a little Pope mobile with one in the back. I don't have it here, but I've seen it, and it 40 grand ish to start.
And that's a pretty reasonable price. At 40 grand, VinFast would still qualify for the $7,500 rebate.
Yeah, the federal EV tax credit would still apply.
Yeah. So I don't know that much about these cars. What kind of range are they getting?
It's saying 300 ish.
300.
It's on here
Okay.
somewhere.
Yeah. Okay. So, all right. Yeah. That's something I was looking at. They have a battery lease program with 2 subscription plans.
That's just weird.
Yeah. Okay. So flexible will allow 300 miles per month under a certain fee with extra costs for extra miles. If they're trying to do something like that here in the United States, that is not going to fly.
No,
Um,
no.
that's gonna crash and burn
Yeah.
because I between my wife's car right now, she went to work, and Riley is going to be filming, so that's a Lucid and a Nikola stop. That's 300 miles on those 2 cars today.
Right,
Um,
right.
I don't understand that. I don't know if the article is correct, if there's something that's off on that. So
Because that's
nobody
crazy.
nobody wants to pay a monthly fee for their mileage.
If you're going to try and toner cartridge the nickel and dimes out of us, it's going to go badly, I think.
Yeah. Oh, horribly badly.
So have you
It's gonna
been
be
looking
super
for
bad.
a model you can't find?
I have. So, as I've said before, back in January-ish, my wife wanted a new Model 3. She wanted something with a little bit more range, so we ordered a Model 3. And originally it told us early March, and then it's gone back. Right now it's between April and May. And she happened to be browsing, and well, I happened to be browsing, and I saw a black Model S with a white interior, and she looked at it, and it was available on Tesla's website right now. It didn't have FSD, which I didn't want. It had the 19-inch rims, which we did want because you can get over 400 miles of range. So it was like, okay. I'm like, honey, do you like this car? And she's like, well, let me look at a couple pictures. So she looks on the internet. She's looking at a black with the white interior. She's like, I like this. This is really good. But it took her like 10 or 15 minutes to just go, yes, I want it. So I go back to the Tesla page, and it's gone. It just disappeared. So for like the last 2 weeks, I've been getting on Tesla's website looking for existing inventory, trying to find a car of similar stats without the add-ons that we don't want. And I've seen a couple cars pop up, and they're usually gone in minutes. The
Wow.
plaid cars seem to last a little bit longer, and then you can pick those up for $135,000. But that's out of the range that I want to go. So want to just stick with the Model S, long range, black with a white interior, with the 19-inch Tempest wheels. That's all I want. Well, that's
Right.
all she wants. And so I found this site the other day, EV-CPO Hunter, and this will search the inventory of Tesla without you having to go into Tesla's thing and putting in different zip codes, trying to find something somewhere in the country. So this will search the entire country, or any country that you want to put in. And right now, this is the list I have. There's 18 cars, 16 of them are plaids. Well, we don't want a plaid, so that leaves the other two. And these other two, the only reason that they're here, because I looked them up, I was like, okay, well, this is a red one with the cream interior. She might go for that. So I look at it, see how much the delivery is going to be. It's in Hawaii.
No problem.
And
Just drive it home.
I was going to drive it home, and then I realized I can't. There's something in the way.
You're not going to take the bridge?
The bridge isn't done yet.
Oh, that's a good point. I didn't realize that.
Not only that, it's a bridge too far.
Oh. Terrible dad jokes are my job. What was that?
It was easy. So
By the way, I looked at the model. I clicked on Model Y here. Look
Yeah.
at what those are selling for. 72 to 76.
Let me take a look. And that is new or used?
Well, I don't know. I just clicked on Model Y.
Okay.
That's 4 used, 1 new.
Okay.
I see.
Yeah, so
and the new one's in
I-
Canada.
That you know what the problem is,
And it's not
and
available.
this is something I'm not very happy with Tesla about. When they get these cars that they're reselling, especially the used ones, I seem to notice that they stick FSD on them. And it's a $12,000 bump, and all they had to do was go, okay, this car now has it. And so all the used cars have FSD. And it annoys me, because if you want something, and I don't know if they could just flip the switch the other way and turn it off and take
for sure.
$12,000 off.
Well,
It's not easy.
won't. The demand is too high. I'm surprised they haven't prioritized FSD orders on new purchases.
Maybe they have.
Yeah,
So-
maybe.
So I'm now using this webpage to find my black and white Model S, and refreshing it all the time. That's the only thing my wife says to me. It's like, "Hey, honey, how you doing?" She goes, "Did you check?" Yeah, I checked. So that's my job now, is to just go ahead. I think that new one just disappeared, or did it? That
The new Y?
yeah. Remember you said there was a.
Mm-hmm.
It shows.
Yep, the new one's gone.
No, I found it. I think I found it. It's in Canada.
I hit refresh and it is gone.
Yeah. So the new ones are going. They're
That
literally
fast.
just snapping out of there. The
Yeah.
plaids last a little bit longer,
Sure,
but everything else is just going
sure.
as quick as they come in.
So I wanted to make a quick reminder. On my channel, we are recorded and will be ending momentarily, but Bear is actually in studio and will be responding to your questions. So if you got them, chuck them in the chat. Get it done now, because he's going to hang out for another 10 minutes, 20 minutes, who knows. Depends on how good the questions are. And don't forget to subscribe on my second channel. Trying to get this off the ground, and it's killing me. My Tesla Live, link in description of his. It's not. I mean, if you're on mine, you're already here. And don't forget, Bear is on a subscriber mission to beat me. And lately, he's been outpacing me. So you can help him get there faster. You can help him get more subscribers than my main My Tesla Weekend channel. Bear, there is one more story I wanted to talk about before we kick off to that. Do you remember what it was?
one more story. I'm looking, and
You lost? Oh, I don't know if you pulled it up. Bear went and did a test drive of the Electra Meccanica Solo.
That's right, that one. Let's bring that one up. I'm going to bring it up.
Yeah, bring it up. I'll give my thoughts real quick while you're doing that. It's a cool little car. The front to me looks very much like a Nissan, but that's neither here nor there. I think there's two real obstacles to this bad boy. One is the price for what it is, and the other is it only has one seat, which is going to take a very special kind of buyer. Did you find it yet?
I've got it. Me running this video is killing you.
Well, then don't run it. People go look at his video. I think it's a pretty comprehensive overview, and it's got a lot of it's obviously all firsthand experience. And Bear, who is, as I understand, at least part Sasquatch, can fit in it. Share your thoughts.
I did fit in it. 6'4", all muscle.
Sorry, I was laughing about something completely unrelated.
I'm sure you were. I'm sure you were. I've got a lot of muscle around my waist also. Yeah, so the car was nice. I'll let you guys watch the video to get the full review. I mean, it wasn't great. It was nice. There's a couple things that I would make improvements on. I left comments in my video about the things that I would change. Electra Meccanica, I think they reshared the video on Twitter, or I know they at least liked it and made a comment. But that was nice that they noticed it. I think a performance model of this would be incredibly fast and fun.
Yeah.
Because this really is a motorcycle. It had more pickup than I thought it was going to. I thought it was going to kind of be like a kind of a drag. Very small battery, 17 kilowatt.
Which also keeps the weight down.
Yes, it does. But I'd love to see a performance model of this.
Sure.
There was a couple of things that made noise, like the air conditioning was very loud, but you're kind of like right in the face of it. But a quieter blower motor would be nice, and you could hear some whine from the motor, which you're in an electric vehicle, so you're not going to hear much.
Mm-hmm.
But you can. I never hear the motors in my my Model Y. Well, maybe a little bit, but nothing really like, oh my God, what's that? When it's something like that, you hear it. But I want to see a performance model, and also, if I really had to change anything, the nose on that car.
Yeah,
not
pure Nissan is what it looks like to me. So we're about to transition over to the chat part. I wanted to give a quick thanks to my Patreons who get early access, bonus content, early access, or anything like that. All the good stuff. Keep the channel running. Keep me in business, because I am just not in business. That's cool, and I thank you guys.
And that goes for both of us, so please also check out my Patreon account if you want to help support the channel. Also, you can just subscribe if you haven't already. Please do.
Thumbs up. Share it. Share this video with someone you love or like.
Oh, yeah, it's just like a late Valentine's present. So do it. Share it. And I'm going to be sticking around, so I think Brian's signing off right now.
I am signing off. I'm signing off. So if you see this after this, it's going straight over to Bear's Workshop for the interaction.
Yeah, where I'm probably going to go ahead and change my clothes, because it's really going to be a new day for me.
Yeah.
But I'll be there to chat with you guys and see what questions you have.
Yeah.
So thanks for watching, and I'm going to say see you in a second. And Brian?
See you next week or Friday for the live stream.
All right. Bye-bye, Brian.
I situation is out of control. See your face, light up the night. And before my eyes, you're thrown down into the fight. Ooh, you look into my eyes, you ask me why. What good is making a stand if we're only left to die? There's a calling and I know it's mine. It's no garden of Eden. Shot down, duster at a left for dead. To dream. Dreaming it's a dead of night. There's no more feeling. Left for dead, still breathing. Breathing. Shot down, around left for dead, still breathing.
I'm going to have to take Danny in and have him checked. We think he has a concussion. He's bleeding from the nose, from the hit. David came at him from behind, and I don't think I have ever been upset in my life like I am right now. And I will be up there to see you as soon as you get home.
Are you looking for some answers? Have you found a way?